Hi, today I want to talk a little bit about something that some people seem to be a little confused on, and that's the angle of the hip when you're doing the deadlift. A lot of people are putting their hip in the wrong position, so it causes the hamstrings not to fire. So if we have my assistant here get into the correct position for the deadlift, he's going to bend down, he's going to grab the bar. Now, as a quick review, we want three things. We want some back tightness here. He's going to bring his shoulder blades together. Then he's going to put his shoulder blades in his pocket. So this gives him upper back tension. And then we have activation of the lats. Now this is a good position. Number two, he's going to have the shoulders slightly in front of the bar. Okay? And number three, the one that we're going to talk about a lot today, is the angle of the hip is going to allow for a lot of hamstring activation. And if I come back here and I put my fingers right back here in his hamstrings, I can feel them firing. Now this is a good position, and this is the position in the hip that you need to be in so those hamstrings will fire. But here's what we're seeing. What we're seeing is we're seeing a lot of people instead are in a lower position. Now this does three things that we don't like. Number one is that it's going to take all the tension out of this hamstring. What we've got now is that this is very loose because it is not being stretched. Okay? And then number two, it's causing his knees to move forward. And now he's almost moving the bar forward. Come up a little bit. And then the next thing that's happening is it's going to bring his shoulders behind the bar. And that's not what we're wanting. We're wanting his shoulders to be a little bit in front of the bar. So go ahead and get back into a good position. Okay, so right now we see a lot of hamstring activation. Now again, how we get this is by pushing the hips back. So we're going to bring his hips back until he has maximum hamstring activation. Now what we're doing here is we're actually stretching the hamstrings. We're getting some expansion so that when he does the deadlift, go ahead and deadlift. So he's going to stretch those, and then he's going to bring them together. Okay, go back down. So the starting position is an expansion, and then when he does the deadlift, he's causing a contraction. The problem is if the hips are too low, it's really hard to get any sort of hamstring activation here. What you would have to do is you'd have to push the hip back a lot in the bottom position, and most people are not able to do that. Okay, go ahead and stand up. The reason that a lot of people aren't able to do that is they don't have the hip mobility. If your hip mobility is not very good, go ahead and get in the starting position again. Your starting position on this is going to have to be a high hip position. So this is where some individual variability comes in. If he has bad hip mobility, the hamstrings might fire, come up a little bit, at about right here. This will be the position for his deadlift. He probably won't be able to go lower if he doesn't have good hip mobility. However, someone who has better hip mobility will be in a lower position. They can get lower here, but then they'll still have the hamstring here. And that's the difference between different people. If you've got good hip mobility, you can get hamstring activation while you're lower. But if you don't have good hip mobility, you're going to have to come up. Okay, that doesn't mean that there's no such thing as a correct deadlift. You have to have hamstring activation here in order to have a correct deadlift. If you're not using your hamstrings and you're just using your quads, then you're doing nothing more than squatting. And if you're just going to do a squat with the barbell, then just put the barbell on your back and do a barbell squat. There's no point in doing the deadlift if we're not going to use the glutes and the hamstrings. All right, so one more time. Hamstring activation. When he hits that point, then he's ready to deadlift. Go. And back down. There you go. So give it a try and let us know what you think. Thanks.